Boom, baby. Corey Sandhagen, Marlon Moraes. We're talking a little UFC post boom show, the Boomcap. You know how it is. Um, I'm just gonna go over the main card. Maybe we'll talk about some of the early prelims, but mainly just the main card, and then I'll get to some fan questions as well. I know we have some Twitter questions. Um, First fight on the main card: Zalal versus Taporia. I was really high on Zalal. I thought, he had a lot of momentum going into this fight. Obviously, he's been one of those guys that has been like really active this year, like myself. I think that was his fifth fight this year or something like that. So he's been firing away and he's been putting away wins really quick. And I know he only made his debut like earlier this year, right? Like maybe even March or I don't even know when he made his debut, but he cranked out like three fights, got three victories. He looks really good. He's not big for featherweight, but he's really well rounded. He's long for the weight class. He mixes it up really well with his striking and his grappling. He's tricky on his back too. He's hard to submit. I mean, as we saw in this fight, Taporia, I was really impressed with his chokes, man. He looks like a really strong guy. He has that squeeze, you could tell that he has that really strong squeeze with those chokes. He was looking for darces and guillotines, and I honestly couldn't believe that Yusuf Zalal got out of some of those chokes. But, I knew there was a lot of hype going into this fight with Taporia. Undefeated fighter, has not lost, and stays undefeated. It was a beautiful win for him, especially over a guy that has so much momentum and had three quick wins in the UFC like Yusuf Zalal. So to come in for his debut on short notice like that and get the win, that was huge for him. Actually, I'm not sure if it might have been short notice for Zalal. I think he might have stepped up. His opponent might have fell out. I'm not sure. One of those guys stepped up short notice. Um, Aspinall gets another win. A lot of talk behind this guy. I know he's coming out of Darren Till's camp, so obviously he's got a lot of good training partners and he's well trained, well coached. This guy's something to mess with heavyweight, man. He's got speed. He's got power. And now that's two finishes back to back quick. So a lot of momentum behind this guy, and I think he's gonna do big things at heavyweight. So watch out for Tom Aspinall. Marcus Perez versus Duplessis. I'll be honest, when I first saw the way Duplessis was striking, he looked a little bit stiff, just the way he was throwing those kicks, kind of putting himself off balance a little bit. But you could tell that he was the way that he's built and the type of power he has is definitely there. Marcus Perez felt that it was a weird punch too. He kind of turned his back to spin, got caught with a left hook. Duplessis finished him off on the ground. And, Marcus Perez started off strong with the body kicks. He was really landing that left body kick hard. And Duplessis was taking it and kind of staying in there and trying to get in his groove. And you could tell it was taking him a little bit to get comfortable in there, being his UFC debut. He was elated when he got that finish, man. I mean, there's nothing like winning your UFC debut, especially when you start slow and you're kind of taking damage and then boom, you come back, get a finish like that. That was beautiful. Nice left hook, finished him up, had that killer instinct, finished him with ground and pound, and that was a big debut for Duplessis. Tabora and my dad, Ben Rothwell. Tough watching this one. I mean, man, these guys for heavyweights, for the amount of volume they were throwing, it was crazy. Like, there was like, I don't know, 100 punches each round for each of them. It was just like nonstop peppering each other, just pop, 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 like over and over. They were just hitting each other, staying in the pocket. And Tabora has a little bit more of a technical striking game to him. Rothwell's a little bit unorthodox, kind of tilts his head to the side and throws weird angles and weird punches combinations. But nonetheless, Tabora was able to secure that takedown, and I think that was it for Rothwell. After he had that output and got taken down, it was really hard to deal with trying to get back up to your feet, especially a big heavyweight like Ben Rothwell, who weighs 265 at the heavyweight limit. Trying to get back up to your feet with a guy like Tabora, who's very athletic and fast. Took him down, kind of stayed on top, and finished the fight there and won by decision. It was a fairly competitive fight. Obviously, it was back and forth on the feet, but Tabora kind of stole the round and with the takedown, secured the victory. And Edson Barboza versus Makwan Amirkhani. Barboza, it seemed a little hesitant in this fight. I know he's dealing with the pressure of having those losses that were kind of controversial to Dan Ige, and then just look at the guy's resume though. It's insane. Hooker, Poirier, right? Did he fight Poirier, or was it Hooker and Felder, sorry, and those were fights that he very well could have won. Going into this fight with a lot of pressure, coming off on losses, trying to make a name at featherweight. He's already done everything at lightweight. I'm shocked the guy makes featherweight. He's shredded at lightweight, but he's still comes down to featherweight, makes the weight, and he looks huge for the weight class. And you could tell Makwan really respected Edson's power. I mean, he really wouldn't pull the trigger. He was really desperately looking for the takedown. Edson Barboza latched onto that anaconda choke, and really that was him really tight. You got to give props to Makwan Amirkhani for surviving that choke and getting out of that. That was beautiful stuff. But nonetheless, Edson Barboza was able to really display a little bit more power, a little bit better striking than Makwan. And although I did like that Makwan up jab, that was a really nice punch that he had in that fight. But Edson, of course, trying to land those kicks, didn't really land them as solid as he has in the past, but he still landed a bunch of them. And he landed that piston right hand twice that dropped Makwan Amirkhani. Really looked good. I'm glad to see him get back in the win column. Big win over Makwan. I kind of knew Barboza was going to take this one. I didn't think Makwan was really at his level, but take a Boomachino sip real quick. Boom. But great win for Edson. Let's see what he does from here. I don't think they should give him a top 5, top 4 guy. Let him kind of get comfortable at featherweight, work his way up. Corey Sandhagen, Marlon Moraes, main event. Man, Corey Sandhagen fought perfect. I mean, the guy's lateral movement, his length for the weight class, just the way that he switches stances and constantly peppers out jabs, and who would have expected him to finish the fight quick like that with that spinning back kick in the second round, spinning wheel kick. Catches Marlon Moraes, throws him off balance, finishes him up on the ground. Some could say that it was a little bit early of a stoppage. I think it was legit. Marlon was definitely hurt, and he was going to take more damage if the ref didn't step in. But, he was moving. He was kind of there trying to move. But, man, Sandhagen's just a hard guy to fight. He's all over the place. He's fast. He's long. He's had that inside leg kick to the back knee to the body. That was beautiful stuff. I mean, he went pop, pop, like inside leg kick, rear knee, like back to back right after each other. It was a nice combination, man. I actually tried to work that today with my brother just because I was really impressed with the way he landed that. Really fast, able to strike from both sides, ambidextrous. It's hard to deal with a guy where you just don't know where he is and where things are coming from. Like the commentator said, he doesn't discriminate with attacks. He's leg kicking, he's teeb kicking, he's spinning, he's throwing jabs from both sides. He's throwing 4-punch, 5-punch combinations. He's moving in and out. He's laterally moving. Like, the guy just doesn't stop. And it was amazing. After that Aljo loss, people wanted to see how was he gonna rebound, and couldn't have rebounded much better than that. That was a slam dunk rebound right there for Corey Sandhagen. You got to imagine, he's going to look to fight Frankie Edgar or TJ Dillashaw. He said, I would love to see the TJ Dillashaw fight. I think that would be a beautiful matchup. Highly skilled guys that, you really don't know what's going to happen in that fight. They used to be old training partners. There's storylines there. And I, really respect Corey Sandhagen a lot for throwing out Aljo's name and saying, hey, like, let him get the title fight, and I'll fight him later down the road after I beat Frankie or TJ. I lean more towards the TJ fight. I think that fight's awesome. And timing makes sense. TJ's gonna be back fighting in January. I think Sandhagen could probably return in January as well, pretty quick. He didn't take any damage in this fight. And for Marlon Moraes, you really don't know where he goes from here. Maybe he needs to really take a step back and fight lower level competition and kind of get his confidence back. You can almost tell that Marlon Moraes is affected by, getting down on the scorecards in fights. Once he starts to face adversity and starts to lose a little bit, you can almost see it on his face. He's discouraged. You know, he's kind of like thrown off a little bit, and his battery drains pretty quick. You know, and he's a really explosive guy in the first second round. But even in this fight, it was almost like he was waiting to let go. You know, he was like, "Ah, I don't want to gas out. This is a 5 round fight. I've had trouble in the past." You can almost tell that might have been something that was in the back of his head going into this fight. So let's see Marlon kind of fight someone maybe at the more towards the 10 range, you know, maybe like the winner of Marab and Stamen, you know, something like that. I think that would be a great fight for either of those two to move up in the rankings. And you know, that'd be a good fight for Marlon Moraes to kind of reset and see where he's at, you know. So I'm all in for that. Let's get to some Twitter questions here. I know you guys left a bunch. Um, let's see. Sniffles. What do you know? Sniffles is back. There he is. I gotta get my deviated septum fixed after fighting, you know. Why do it now and then get hit there? Might as well wait and figure it out. But here we got a question. At Mark Summers, Spike Summers, does martial arts, movies, video games, anime play a special part with fighters and their development? Does it open up their imagination for crazy possibilities to happen in a fight? I suppose it could. I don't think that's frequent. You know, I don't think a lot of fighters are watching movies and like taking notes and, you know, bringing it to the gym to train and try things. I think guys use, you know, they definitely use their creativity, their imagination to try things that might possibly work within their styles or something that might be effective in the fight itself. So now I wouldn't say it's something that is, you know, I wouldn't say fighters are taking stuff from movies and applying it to the actual fight. Brooks Paradise 1. Are you going to put out an album? Are you going to start fighting at bantamweight regularly? With the album, I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't taken music really serious lately, just focused on fighting. I do have a bunch of songs, but when it comes to albums, mixtapes, you really want to make sure it's like top level shit. I mean, I'm not going to half-ass it. I got to make sure I'm in there with the right producers and I kind of have the right theme that I want for it, and you know, at least 10 to 12 songs that I can put out on an official mixtape. So I mean, you know, there's probably like 3 or 4 that I have that I really like that I could probably utilize, but I got to start doing music a lot more frequently. I think once I get my house the end of this year, once I'm in my house, I might have a little bit of a studio area I can work on my own in the room and kind of record songs, send them to the producer and work from there and bang out some music. So we'll see. I'm sure next year I'll have some more music for you. But as far as bantamweight goes, my next fight's at bantamweight against Ricky Simone, January 16th. So definitely stay tuned for that. You know, bantamweight is definitely, you know, during the pandemic, featherweight was great for me. I felt healthy, I felt strong. But obviously, bantamweight's my weight class when it comes to my frame, my size. So I think you know, I'll regularly fight back at bantamweight now. It's just a matter of getting the right amount of notice before the fight. If it's 2 weeks notice, I got to do featherweight. If it's 3 weeks, featherweight. You know, if I get 4, 5, 6 weeks, I can make bantamweight. So it's getting rougher. So not enjoying that weight cut. Um well, at Lee Pollo Loco, when will Boom go turkey and get a hair transplant so he won't be Baldy Ed? Hey, I'm King Baldy Ed. I'm Team Baldy Ed. Gang Baldy Ed for life. A Baldy Ed gang. You know, bald is beautiful. I proudly shaved it. Shaved it for you guys today. Get a good look at the shine. Feels nice. Bingo bango. At Sergio underscore Guzalian. What did you think about Corey's performance, and will we see Boom time again 2020? Hey, I'm down for 2020 as long as it's at 45 short notice. I'm in there, like I said. But Corey's performance was beautiful. I talked about it before. Honestly, it was pinpoint accuracy, perfect performance. Showed that arousal continuum is a real thing for him, and he was in it that whole time, the whole week, the whole time in the fight. Beautiful. Switching stances, lateral movement, popping jabs out both sides, spinning wheel kick, TKO, bingo, like I said before, boom, shakalaka, champ. Who do you like your odds better against out of the main event, Sandman or Marlon? Well, the fight's over. Come on, Doug. That was Boom Kelleher stand account. Someone made a Boom Kelleher stand account. Hey, thank you. Um, who do you think should be next for Tom Aspinall? I don't know. He's 2-0 in the UFC, fairly new still. I feel like with those kind of guys, it can be anybody, anybody, maybe a top 15, maybe someone between 15 and 20, something like that. I really don't know. There's a lot of guys. Maybe you give him. I mean, he's coming off a win. Tabor's coming off a win. Maybe you do Tabor versus Aspinall. Why not? What do you think at Lil Skit Scat? What do you think happens to Impa Kasanganai after last night? I mean, he had a great performance until he got knocked out. He was looking good, I know he's new to the UFC. This is part of the game, man. You take big losses, but what makes you a real fighter and what shows your character is how you rebound from those kind of losses, big knockouts like that. You come back and you get a big win, and people forget about it, and that's it. So I'm sure he'll be back strong. My man, another fellow baldy Ed, Mike Grundy. How old were you when you accepted you're going bald and just shaved it all off and said, fuck it? I told him I was about like 25. It happened when I was 25. I had a mohawk and like I had a fight. It's in CES and the camera was above me taking pictures, video, whatever it was. And all I could see was half a mohawk, a big ass bald spot, and the rest of my mohawk. And I was like, you know what? That don't even look like a mohawk. That looks like a fucking hawk. So I was like, all right, it's time to shave it. At least I got a nice round head. I think bald is good for me. It's not too bad. I like it. It's comfortable. It's easy. Saving money at the barbershop. Although I do miss the barbershop. It's always fun being there with all the barbers talking and stuff like that, and kind of the experience and just the relaxation to it. I do miss that. I get my beard trimmed once in a while, but I kind of could do it all on my own. What else we got? Oh, I use the razor. Someone asking me if I use electric razor, blade razor. I use the blade all day, baby. Just nice and easy. Sometimes I use shaving cream. Do it in the shower. Makes it easier. And that's about it. Looks like that's it for questions. Right? Like I said, January 16th, Simon Says, I'm going to whip that ass. Simon Says, it's business is booming. Simon Says, boom time. Simon Says, performance of the night. Simon Says, about to go on a win streak. Simon Says, thank you for tuning in today for the Boomcap, for UFC Moraes versus Sandhagen. We'll be back to do a breakdown for next week. Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're trying to stay more consistent with these. I can't wait to set up my new home office when I move in. We'll probably get little upgrades. Right now I have the Blue Yeti mic. Maybe we'll upgrade that. We'll upgrade the webcam. I mean, my webcam's not too bad. 1080p. I mean, got the Logitech. I don't know if there's probably something a lot better out there, like a 4K or something even more. So we'll look into some upgrades, but thank you guys. Boom.